Okay, since we have learned so many connectives or conjunctions about expressing contrast, let's see if you understand the usage of it, how to apply to the real situation. Okay, so you can find this exercise on your grammar book on page 260. So let's try part C first. Okay, try the easy ones to see if you understand how to do what are the differences between those connectives. Okay, I'm going to give you the number one as an example. So you need to complete the sentences by choosing the correct verb. Okay, the correct verb from the brackets. There are two connectives. You need to use the correct one. The first one has been done for you as an example. All right. So for number one, Eva was here this morning. Do you use in spite of or but? Okay. Notice when you use the word but is followed by subject and verb. In spite of, there is no verb. Okay. It followed by noun, pronoun, gerund, or noun phrase. Okay. So when you see, oh, subject, verb. Okay. She, subject, didn't stay is a verb. Okay. So of course we use but. Okay. So the answer is but Eva was here this morning, but she did not stay long. This is the answer. Okay, I would like you to try number two. His fever hasn't gone down, even though he's taking some medicine, or but he's taken some medicine. What is your answer? Of course, the answer is even though. Why? Because even though, of course, both of though and even though, both but and even though followed by subject, verb, object. But the meaning sounds a bit weird if you use but here. Okay. So the meaning is more suitable. So that means even though he has taken some medicine, his fever hasn't gone down yet. What's happening? Should we send him to the hospital? Okay, so if you use the word but, the meaning is totally different. Number three, I think the plan will work. Although despite it's quite a different approach. What is the meaning? They all have the meaning of but. Okay. However, which one do we use? Although it's quite a different approach, or despite. Which one is correct? Can you see it's quite a different approach? It's got subject and a verb. Okay. So of course we need to use what is followed by a subject and a verb. Although, yes. Can you see? Although, shall I draw it? Can you see? Although, even though, but, okay, they are followed by subject and verb. Despite or in spite of, or despite, they are followed by noun, pronoun, verb, or noun phrase. Okay, no verb at all. Okay, when you use with in spite of or despite, that is quite easy for you to make a big difference. Okay, to answer the questions. All right, last one, number 4 in this slide. Although her success, or in spite of her success, she remains modest. What is your answer? Can you see her success is a noun phrase, right? Okay, her success is a noun phrase, so we use in spite of or despite. Okay, so of course we choose in spite of in this case. This is how we choose the answer. Okay, in spite of her success. In spite of followed by noun phrase. Phrase, that means no verb. Okay, two words with a noun. Success is a noun. Two or more words together is a phrase already. Okay, now let's try next slide. Okay, let's continue with question number 5. They decided to hold the picnic as planned, though or in spite of there was a chance of rain. You can see that there was subject verb. Whenever you see subject verb, so it must be although, even though, but. Okay, so you can see the answer is what? Though. Yes, of course, because in spite is followed by a noun, pronoun, gerund, and noun phrase. No verb at all. Okay, see, was is a verb, so of course you can use in spite of. Very easy. Okay, number 6, however, despite her shyness, okay, so her shyness is a noun phrase, okay, noun phrase. So you know the answer must be from these two, okay, so in spite of or despite, okay, so the answer is actually quite clear here, right? Okay, so the answer should be despite, yes, in spite of or despite. Okay, so we choose despite her shyness, despite followed by noun phrase or noun or pronoun or gerund, right? Despite her shyness, she had a wonderful time at the party. Even though she was shy, she still had a wonderful time at the party, okay? Okay, number 7. I know you are tired. Still, although, I think you should finish your homework before you go to bed. Okay, what is the answer? It should be still. Why? Because though, when the word though is used in the beginning of the sentence, there should not be comma here, no comma, when the word though is used in the beginning of the sentence. So it should be like this. Though I think you should have finished your homework before going to bed. I know you are tired. It's a bit weird, okay? And secondly, we can't use though. Second reason is that though I think you do, okay, there shouldn't be a comma after the word though, okay, not after. Usually you can put it before though, but the word though ends is put at the end of the sentence when it is put at the end of the sentence. So though is definitely out in this case. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, let's try number 8. No matter although it was a public holiday, the beach wasn't too busy. So no matter is usually followed by no matter how, no matter what, no matter where. But it doesn't have those WH questions, so no matter it seems out. Though it was a public holiday, comma, yeah, sounds okay. So even though or although it was a public holiday, comma, the beach wasn't too busy. Sounds right. Okay. So definitely no matter is out. Okay, because we have to follow by no matter what, no matter how, no matter where, something like that. So this no matter is out. Although though it makes sense. Okay. And though followed by subject and verb. Subject is it, verb is was. Okay, so it fits perfectly. For rule number 1, okay, here. Oh, you know. Oh, I can't undo. Sorry. All right. So maybe I should put this one on. Subject, verb, object. Okay. All right. Next one is number 9. Number 9. It was after midnight. Even though or even so, Causeway Bay was bright and busy. It was after midnight, so at night, okay, midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. Even so, that means however, Causeway Bay was bright. However, it was still bright and busy. Even though we don't use comma directly after even though, so even though must be out. Okay, so even though Causeway Bay was bright, no comma if you use even though, but there is a comma there, so even though must be out. So the answer must be even so. Okay, even so, that means however. Usually it starts with the beginning of the second sentence, so sentence 1, sentence 2, beginning, and then we put a comma for even so or however. Okay. Number 10, there are many restaurants in this street. Do we use while that means but. Okay, it's quite similar to while, that means similar to but, the usage I mean. Okay. Can you say there are many restaurants in this street, but there are very few in the street behind it, or in spite of. In spite of, we don't. Can you see in spite of? In spite of this one, in spite of or despite is followed by noun, pronoun, gerund or noun phrase, because we have subject and then a verb. Okay, so that must be this word while, because while that means but can you see but is followed by subject verb object. Okay, so you know what the answer is. Okay, so the answer must be while. Okay, while while that means but followed by subject and a verb. Okay, and object in this case. Okay, number 11, Nicole declined our offer. That means reject. Decline, that means reject our offer, but she needed our help despite the fact that she needed help. So which one do we use? Declined our offer. Despite the fact that, that means although she needed our help, despite the fact that is followed by subject and verb and object. But is also followed by subject verb. But which one do we choose? That means if you look at the meaning, that means despite the fact that, that means although she needed help, okay, Nicole declined our offer. So even though she needed our help, she still declined, okay, rejected our offer. Okay, so it seems like that despite the fact that makes more sense here. Okay, if you use but, it seems like that the meaning is a bit different. Okay, so sometimes you need to look at the structure of the grammar pattern. Okay, and sometimes you actually need to look at the meaning in the sentence, whether it makes sense or not, in order to put the correct connectives. So I suggest you can try to use those ones that are familiar with you. If you are not too familiar with, you don't have to use it in your composition. Just use use a few that you are familiar with. Okay, and make sure you use those connectives grammatically correct. All right, that's all for now for exercise C. Okay, for this video, we are going to make more videos soon next time. Okay, bye for now.